Hello students, so this is part 2 of the test. I first did the annotation and summary, and now I'll do the rest of the test. I think I can finish the rest in fairly quick time. So going through multiple choice. Years of eating high-fat foods had led to a buildup of cholesterol in his arteries. So build up um, is kind of a hint. Destruction means to take down. Obstruction means to block. Accumulation means to build up. So the answer is A. Stress can lead to an impairment of the blood vessels. So impairment is when you impair something, you hurt it. So that would be C in injury. An irritation is not quite big enough. An excess doesn't necessarily have to do with hurt. So an excess doesn't have the same meaning. Could be A or could be C, but A isn't strong enough. So the answer is C. The cat showed signs of hostility, such as hissing and clawing at people. So let's look at A. A is the answer, a strong dislike. Extreme fear is when you run away. So if you're extremely fearful, you either pass out or you run away. You don't hiss and claw at them. So that's like fighting at them for a cat. So when you're extremely nervous, again, maybe you sweat a lot, maybe you turn red, but you don't hiss and claw. So for a cat, this is like fighting. So that's a strong dislike, not extreme nervousness. Hostility is a strong dislike. Well, you could have done worse, Simon told her. She resented the implication that she had not done very well. This one was a little bit difficult. So the implication here, the meaning of this part of the sentence, and let me make this all a little bit bigger. I'm sorry, I should have done this at the beginning. Number 4, this is negative. The sense of the sentence is negative. A suggestion is not necessarily negative. The word suggestion doesn't mean that it's negative. A statement is also neutral. It's not negative. The only one that's actually negative is C. So the answer has to be C here. A suggestion is very similar to an accusation. Though these A and C could be taken at the same, but this is clearly negative, and the only one with a negative meaning here is C. So it's got to be C. 5. Many people go to an acupuncturist when they have a physical problem and blank medicine doesn't help them. This here has to be adjective. So it could be preventative. It could be conventional. It cannot be surgery because surgery is a noun. So it can't be A. It has to be conventional or preventative. And here it says many people go to an acupuncturist. So an acupuncturist is not conventional. So they go to an acupuncturist when regular medicine doesn't help them. So the answer again is C, conventional medicine doesn't help them. Acupuncture treatments took care of the blank of Dan's illness, but not the cause. So it has to be a noun. These are all nouns. Took care of the symptoms, C, but not the cause. So acupuncture treatments can't take care of treatments. So it can't be B. And you can't take care of a diagnosis. You can treat a symptom, but you don't treat a diagnosis. You treat a symptom. So the answer has to be C. I won't cross out A, but the answer has to be C. Maintain is B, keep. This is pure definition. Maintain is an increase. Maintain means to stay equal. So it doesn't mean to enjoy. If it's equal, you don't increase it. If it's equal, you do keep it at the same level. So 7B. And here we see the annotation and then the summary and the paraphrase. So I didn't do this last time. Paraphrase needs to start with reporting language, like the wait, the author said that, um, and I think I just these are my words. So you need to start with reporting language. This is reporting language. I'll put it in red, um, and then your words. Anyhow, my computer is not working. I'm not working. Um, Start with reporting language and then end with your words. If you can, you use the paragraph number. So this is the last paragraph, which is paragraph 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 5. So let's say paragraph 5. There we go. You don't need this because it's from the short reading. All you need is a period. But you do need the reporting language and then the main point in your words. Okay, so now a short answer from the reading. What is Norman Cousins best remembered for? Not his work as a teacher, not his work as an editor. C, his work as a writer. Although he achieved fame for his work as an editor than this, he is best remembered for research and writing. So it's his work as a writer. In the first line of paragraph 2, what does the phrase no stranger to? If you're not a stranger to something, it means you're familiar with something. So you don't have to be a specialist in it. You don't have to be comfortable with it, but it means you're familiar with it. You're familiar with something. How old was Cousins when he was diagnosed with severe arthritis? So this was math. So he was born in 1912, and then in 1964 he was diagnosed. So 1964 minus 1912 is 52. What kinds of programs did Cousins watch in his hotel room? Let's see. He particularly liked movies and episodes of a TV show. He began watching funny movies on a daily basis. He particularly liked Marx Brothers and episodes of a TV series called Candid Camera. The very first night he watched films, he laughed so hard his belly hurt. So he was laughing very much. Not about vitamin C, not about the brothers, but humorous programs. How did watching funny films affect Cousin's body? A, it reduced inflammation. Laughing made his body hurt. He took extra vitamin C. He didn't require it, but it was good for his body. So he took this. Laughing made his body hurt, but laughing one night made his body hurt. But watching funny films overall, overall it was A. It reduced inflammation and infection levels. So let's see. Yes, one night it did this, but how did watching funny films in general affect Cousin's body? It was A. So let's look at and see if there's a hint here that could have led us to this. The very first night he watched the films, he laughed so hard. So it wasn't about the very first night. In the next weeks, Cousins regularly measured his blood levels after watching these films. So here it doesn't say, how did watching the funny films the very first night? This means in general. So the answer is A. 30. In his 1979 book, what did Cousin state about the life force? It is one of the most powerful forces we know? No. We do not understand this force. The answer is B. And if we look back, he eventually wrote a book about his experiences called Anatomy of an Illness, which was published in 1979. In it, he wrote that the life force may be the least understood force on Earth. So that means we do not understand it. He doesn't say we should understand it. He implies that we should, but he doesn't say that we should. So the answer is B. We do not understand this force. So nouns and verbs. John's parents, so subject, we need a verb. Recommend. So Jack and Vicky made, we have a subject and a verb, so we need a noun. "33. Don't try to climb the mountain at night." That would be, this is an adjective, so we need an adverb. Extremely dangerous. You need to finish college if you want to get a good job. A high school education is no longer, so is means that after is sometimes comes an adjective, not an adverb. So it's got to be an adjective here. I'm tired and I can't think about this problem anymore. So we have a subject, and so we need a verb, decide, but it needs to be future. I will decide what to do tomorrow. So here it says, use the correct tense of the verbs. We didn't have to change many here, but this one we do. What to do tomorrow means that we do need to change this to being will decide. And finally, more nouns and verbs. It's onto one page. So George sometimes asks questions, but he sometimes does this, but means that doesn't do this. So it has to be negative. The correct verb is participate, but he does not. And the key is the but. Right here, but, that's the clue. And the same tense, except it's negative. I don't know what kind of food to fix for the party. Do you have a few? This means a noun. So do you have a few? The only range doesn't fit. Accumulation doesn't fit. That means a buildup. Suggestion. But it's plural. A few means plural. Yes, suggestions. Few is the hint here. My brother has been collecting baseball cards since he was 9. At this point, this one is a little trickier. It's accumulate, meaning to build. So it's got to be a verb. It's got to be accumulate. So it's has accumulated. So this means that up until this point, the past affecting now. So at this point, meaning currently, or up until now. So that's the clue there. You could say he accumulated over 2,000. At this point, he accumulated over 2,000 cards. That would mean he's finished. So you could say the past. That would be okay. In Tim's adult education class, the blank, so it's got to be a noun because of the. The drop, well, that's not even a noun. The accumulation, so one of his students is only 18. The oldest is over 70. So the students are between 18 and 70. So what does it mean to be between something? It's a range, and the range in ages is amazing. And so the hint here is this range. Over 10 years, the number of people in the study, over 10 years, the number of people in the study blank. So we have prepositional phrase, comma. So this is the subject. And another noun. So this needs to be a verb. So what is it here? The answer is drop. You could say plunge. So they both have a similar meaning, drop or plunge. Well, plunge is a noun here, so no, you can't use plunge. So it would be drop. %, because some died and other moved away. Uh-oh, we see this here is in the past, over 10 years. The number in the study. So this could be drop, past simple, or you could say until now, and you could say has dropped. So I would accept either one. It has to be in present perfect or past simple. Has dropped or dropped. Okay, that's the end of the test. If you have any disagreement, please come and see me with your answer. I will see you next time in class, hopefully.